welcome to the fourth and final review of the evening. Of this time is Kazakh Jack, which is a bit interesting because even though this game takes place in the People's Republic of Neo-Kazakhstan, the character you play, Jack, he is a lumberjack. He is a Canadian. I think that is a reflection of the nationality of who actually developed this.
In fairness, there's plenty of work for a lumberjack in the less populated parts of the Soviet Union.
True, but Kazakhstan is Central Asia, so we're talking more the steppes of Asia.
Yeah, I guess there aren't that many trees, but it was still a Soviet republic.
True. I couldn't say how many trees are in Kazakhstan. I don't know. But, it's like that particular area of the world, it's more mountains and fields. Very Mongol friendly, for example. And that kind of thing. But, Kazakhstan probably has its forests. Granted, this has nothing to do with the actual Kazakhstan. It's the Soviet throwback version of Kazakhstan. So, yeah.
But Neo.
Yeah. Yeah. This game has a lot of Soviet imagery.
Such as everything being in pseudo-Cyrillic.
Right. Mm-hmm. And, it's got its interpretation of the sickle and the hammer, except that the hammer is an axe, a lumberjack axe. And I'm surprised they didn't do anything with the sickle. Because, make that a curved chainsaw or something like that. I'm like, granted, I don't, it's like, the axe is a working man's tool. So, and, the entire premise here is the People's Republic of Neo-Kazakhstan needs you to hack and slash your way to freedom as you harvest valuable Kazakh timber in order to earn enough Kazakh credits for a ticket home before the next available plane arrives. And, it's like, even though it's got the faux Soviet Union thing going on here, there's a bit of, there's no way to avoid it, fucking Borat in this. Because it's got things like, from the Superior National Park of Nature Reservings to the frozen steppes of the Great Northeastern Preserve region. You cannot tell me that those are not names influenced by Borat's particular brand of...
Yeah, though that's also sort of based on actual Soviet badly translated.
I know, but let's face it, when you think of this shit in the modern day, you're going to think of Borat. Okay?
Nope, not debating that.
Yeah. That is a whole thing that is kind of a not important to the actual review here. So basically, this is a hack and slash game in a very literal way, because you're a lumberjack that hacks and slashes trees. And so this game was given to Twilight Winter, who will take through the, how good was this game and all that sort of thing.
Yeah. So the basic premise of Kazakh Jack here is that you, the lumberjack Jack, after losing his job as a lumberjack in Canada due to an accident with the limb of a tree when an inspector was around, doing his job, inspecting the safety regulations and inspecting how safe the work environment was. He heard an ad calling for a lumberjack in Neo-Kazakhstan and traveled there using all of his savings apparently to do so. And apparently a meteor or something like that fell from the sky and landed there and caused all the trees and everything, including the fauna, to mutate into living, violent trees and animals, apparently. And apparently his job as a lumberjack there is to slay these things. It's what's implying at least. Um, yeah, realizing how dangerous things are there, he needs to collect the Kazakh credits to make his way back home to escape from the job. Since they don't do Western currency there. So the as for the game itself, it's pretty difficult actually. This seems to be intentional. You're going to be doing a lot of timed dodging and blocking with your axe as the violent shrubbery will be throwing wood at you or just leaping at you and such. And the controls are interesting. Besides using your D-pad or control stick to move your character around, your right analog stick if I use to attack with your axe with in all four directions, which is an interesting choice. And it works very well. You've just had so basically it comes down to timing and how you fight back and such. You'll be mostly doing dodging though, and when it comes to the defense part, you won't always be able to reliably strike down any projectiles coming at you. Otherwise, you'll be dodging obstacles as you traverse levels. Starting from the second level onward is where the game's difficulty noticeably actually ramps up, as the first level is just basically giving you an idea of what's to come. From there on out, you'd be doing a lot of borderline Kaizo Mario type of navigating the levels, as you need to do a lot of timed jumps to avoid saw blades and bullets from anything else that's there to attack you. It will involve a lot of well-practiced jumps and dodges and sliding. You can actually, I discovered by a pure accident that you can also slide across the ground to with your crouch to dodge any overhead obstacles. This is would be best described as sort of a massive, I can't say it right. Basically, anybody who enjoys this would be something for anybody who enjoys a lot of anything like Super Meat Boy or such.
Masochistic.
Yeah, thank you. I was having trouble saying masochistic there. Yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's quite at the level of Super Meat Boy, but still it's somewhere has a good middle ground there. Basically, a lot of borderline, almost cruel difficulty here. Oddly enough, the boss battles aren't as difficult as you would expect them to be. Is more the levels themselves you have to be most concerned about when it comes to the difficulty. At least from my experience, at least the second level boss here, or bosses, were not that bad. As long as you do some well-timed blocking with your axe as they lunge at you, you'll be fine. I mean, as you can see here,
and the boss enemy is monster bushes that have come to life through radiation.
pretty much, yeah. The meteorite is apparently very radioactive, space radiation that brought all the shrubbery to life and made all the animals very
Looks like the
violent.
platforming control isn't amazingly precise.
No, yeah, a lot of the times, like I said before we even started the review here, it's not outright terrible, but yeah, it's kind of questionable whether or not
when you're trying to do a masochistically precise platformer, it's important to have controls that can execute on that.
Yeah,
we've been over this several times. Like controls and pacing are key to these kind of games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And quite frankly, this looks very stiff.
Yeah, it is very stiff, actually. Like I said, you'd be questioning whether or not all the fault falls on you most of the time. And I have to admit, for the most part, yeah, the controls here aren't exactly the best. Especially with just how easily you can just walk into one of the spikes in this level here. Though it's doable, you'll just be spending a lot of time practicing it, though, which is the idea behind
I also can't tell
of
what's an insta kill and what just does damage.
Yeah, that was my major problem here. The saws aren't going to instant kill you, but they do so much damage at times that the it takes all your health out on almost once on contact almost, and you just barely touch them. It takes out like half your health or almost all of it. Is here and yeah, oddly enough, you can actually if you try hard enough, you can actually try to take out the trees or bushes up above you at the start of the level, but it doesn't really do much good.
Just the amount of effort it takes is not a significant easier.
Yeah, it's not really worth it. So, yeah, let's see here. You do have an option to throw your axe, but I found it to be almost useless. You have a special axe, actually, you got 3 shots with. You can actually, if you don't lose it, you can retrieve it, but I didn't find it of all that much use, honestly. So yeah, overall, it's not the worst. I haven't played all that many of these types of platformers, but and from my experience, it's not the worst. But if you're looking for these types of platformers, just be aware that the controls aren't up to snuff. Would be the best way to describe how they work for this game. And speaking of controls, you can't rebind your keys or the control options for your gamepad either. So what's there is what you got for playing the game. Otherwise, there's some side stuff you can do as well. Back in your room, from my experience, doesn't really contribute much to the main game itself. There's some fun stuff you can do. You can go on the internet and look at the news reports for all the goings-ons. Just some comedy stuff that really doesn't contribute to the overall plot or game itself. You can order some food that Jack can fix to give you some odd effects, like as you can see here. There's some food that they had him fix and eat, and they gave him a fish head that serves no real purpose, just for funsies. And yeah, that's it for gameplay. Just not the best controls for this sort of platformer. It's manageable though, if you have the patience for it. I actually gave up after this level. So now for the visuals, the game's art, it's not bad, at least in my opinion. It's not the worst I've seen either, though. An interesting choice in how you can see the characters' eyes. The animations, yeah, it's very stiff looking, and personally didn't really bother me much, but that's sort of a subjective thing. But yeah, clearly the what I'm trying to say is that there was clearly no attempt, both control wise or animation wise, to make the game look any smoother or control any smoother. Yeah, I'd say overall the visuals are kind of meh. But other people would say differently, though. It doesn't look absolutely terrible, is what I'm saying. Music, be expecting the sort of music you'd be expecting from a country like Kazakhstan. I'm not sure what exactly it would be called.
Apparently, it's a mix of Kazakh and Russian electronic folk music.
It did have a sort of Russian vibe to it. I didn't want to say anything wrong concerning that, though.
What, you're saying it's not just the Tetris theme on loop?
That's actually Eastern European.
I know.
I know,
but it feels Russian.
Well, yeah, because it's associated with Tetris,
right?
And which has a lot of, Russian heritage, let's say.
Yeah, I'm not completely unfamiliar towards the sort of music. I just wasn't sure which nation it was actually associated with.
Yeah, a hybrid of best. Yeah, featuring this is apparently a hybrid of traditional Russian and Kazakh music fused with futuristic electronic melodies. So,
yeah, it wasn't. It was all right. That's something I would buy the soundtrack for. I would buy the soundtrack for. I'll get to that in a little bit here. This game also has voice acting, and it's actually fairly good. Not amazing, but it was good. At least from the few characters I've actually heard speak. Then the main character is obviously Canadian. Gorbachev, the one Kazakhstan citizen that you speak to. an alright imitation of the accent. Yeah. That's the best I can say about that. They was going for somebody who's clearly not well versed with the English language. Yeah, I go gets to pricing. Let's see here. So Kazakh is $5.99, so $6. Yeah, I say it's about the right price for this game. As I said, I'm not particularly fond of these types of platformers. I give it my best try, and I would say if you're the sort of person who enjoys this sort of platformer, just be aware that it's not the controls aren't optimized for this sort of game. So be prepared to put in a lot of practice, probably more than you normally would. So separately from the main game is the Kazakh soundtrack. It's $2.99. I thought the music was alright. And personally, I wouldn't buy the soundtrack for it though. That's just me. I haven't heard all of the game's music either, so I'm probably not exactly the best judge on the soundtrack, at least for the whole soundtrack. So if you get any further than me and you like the soundtrack, then go for it. So does anybody have any questions? Anything I overlooked?
I think I said mine.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, so that's it for me then.
All right, so that'll do it for Kazakh Jack, and indeed do it for our review session. The week ahead. So let me see. The last news desk on the left is currently on hiatus. That is returning in 3 weeks. Probably going to have to mention to Mac that when we do the inverse with Fragments, it might be best to have last news desk also go on hiatus because, we kind of do this show first, that show second, but we'll deal with that in July. Yeah, anyway. So I am doing a special crossover with Max Revive Up Late with Mace. If you've been listening to recent episodes of Fragments of Silicon, you know that the big revival sprang from our most recent interview with John Pickett of Manga Gamer. So during the break, Mac and I are going to collaborate with some Manga Gamer stuff. This week, we're going to be doing a review of Rant's Quest Magnum, which is the RPG out of the group. And next week, we are planning on actually doing a interview on Up Late with Mace with John there. So, we can more freely talk about Manga Gamer stuff, with the actual naughty games there. But as far as Fragments goes, just a Wednesday program this week. Kind of how it works. But on Wednesday, April 21st, we'll be interviewing Kevin James of Poleaxe Games. Poleaxe, as in a poleaxe, not any sort of ethnic slur against Polish people. Just want to make that clear. Another newly established developer, let's say, who's how do I put this diplomatically? Certainly enthusiastic about developing a game. The story will be delved into, but he's somebody who's really invested in making a game. Empire of Ember, which is a strategy game, and he's invested, let's say, a lot of his life into it. It's we wish you luck on this endeavor, but it's not necessarily going to be guaranteed success. You know how this business goes, but we'll be talking about that on Wednesday. And until then, I shall wish you good gaming.